a lot of kids, teenagers, don't even have a social life because the focus is primarily on studying, study so that you can, get good grades. It's always what it's about when it comes to a lot of African
Are
households.
children allowed to work in the UK? When we talk about children or teenagers, you are being a super lady, you are rich, wealthy, why would you allow your child to work? Because you have everything already. You have everything in the country. Why would you allow your daughter who
You
is
should.
under? Yeah, why would you
You
allow her
should.
to
It's
work?
it's a good culture.
All right, everyone, welcome to my channel once again. Today, I've got a special guest, my boss lady. I've been talking about her here on my channel, but you have not met her. And today, you'll be meeting with this. In fact, she's my employer. She's always done all the references I've been using to work in the UK. She works with the police, social services, a whole lot of them. In fact, let's just give her the chance to introduce herself by herself. All right, welcome, sis.
Are you sure it's me you're talking about, Chi? Because I don't recognize that person you're talking about. Right. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for inviting me. I mean, this is overdue. This is an overdue invitation because we've been saying so many times that I need to come on your show so we can talk, and I'm so glad. And I'm sure this is just the beginning. So you will definitely see more of me for sure. But thank you again for the invite. And so let me just take this opportunity to just introduce myself very briefly. My name is Yeama, and I am originally from Sierra Leone in West Africa. I have been in the United Kingdom for over 20, just over 20 years now, and I live in Stockton-on-Tees in the northeast of England, which I love very dearly. And here in the northeast of England, I am involved. I think I want to describe myself as a community person, which is why you hear about me working with the police, with social services, because I'm everywhere. I'm a community champion. That's what I think that's the best way I can describe myself. But I run my own charity here in Stockton-on-Tees that supports refugees and asylum seekers in my area. So anything to do with asylum seekers, refugees, any question you ask, I'll be able to answer because I went through the whole process myself, before I became settled here in the Northeast. And so my organization supports refugees, asylum seekers. We work with them, support them, help them, and she here, she's one of our able volunteers. We are all volunteers. Everyone who works with Purple Rose Stockton, supporting refugees and asylum seekers, everyone is a volunteer, and we're all doing an amazing job. And that involves, working with the police, social services, anything to do with their daily lives. We are there. We're there supporting people. And I think for me, I don't like to describe myself, in so many words, other than that, I'm a community person. I love supporting people. I love helping people. That's why, we're all here on this planet to do something meaningful to help and support others. And I think we all have a role to play in that. And I think for me personally, that's just my role that I'm playing, either with police, either with social, either with anybody, as long as it involves helping and supporting people, you can count me in. And I'm so privileged to be able to meet this amazing, wonderful woman here, Chi, who is also part of that team, and we're all working together to make a difference in our communities. And that's what it's about. So thank you for the invite.
Yes, all of you have just heard it from my boss's mouth. Yes, she's just one super amazing lady I've known in this very community. So you heard all she just said. She's just everything good. So if you have any needs, if you are struggling with anything, feel free to drop your questions in the comment section. She also has a Facebook page, Purple Rose, and health well-being, right? Sorry.
Purple Rose Stockton. So our Facebook page is Purple Rose Stockton. It's on Facebook, and also my personal page, which I use sometimes to just talk about different things to do with women, because back home in my home country, I was a journalist. So media is like, in my bones. I worked in television and radio for many years in Sierra Leone before I came to the UK. So anything to do with women and girls, I love that. And so I have my own page, which Chi will probably put up and give you more information about. It's Let's Talk with Yeama. It's on my Facebook page. So you can follow that as well, because that's where I do a lot of like other things aside Purple Rose Stockton, which is a page that you can also follow.
Yeah, thank you very much, Emma, for that wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
All right, so today we shall be talking about this vital topic. A lot of parents recently migrated from Africa with their children. And back home in Africa, most parents, they believe in children going to school from Monday to Friday, without having any other thing outside of studies, go to school, come back, and they wouldn't let their children work until after graduation. That's after 18 years, 20 years, and above, depending at the time their children started schooling. But here in the UK, I think it's quite a different ballgame altogether. This is why I have Yeama here with me today to talk about this. Are children allowed to work in the UK? When we talk about children or teenagers who are less than 18 years of age, are they allowed to work in the UK?
Yes, they are. Kids are allowed to work in this country. And I think, Chi, like what you said there, I am from Africa myself. I'm from Sierra Leone, West Africa. And I know there's a difference in culture with a lot of people who are arriving here in the UK. And that's how it is. With us Africans, the focus is always on the kids, studying and studying and studying, that to a point where even when it comes to social life, a lot of kids, teenagers, don't even have a social life because the focus is primarily on studying, study so that you can, get good grades. It's always what it's about when it comes to a lot of African households, which really that shouldn't be the case. Whereas in this country, I have 3 kids, and my kids were all born in this country. My eldest is 17 now, and she started looking for work since she was 16. And
Wow.
even at that, I'm encouraging her also. Since 16, funnily, she's done it all by herself. She's done her CV, she's done everything, all
Wow.
the voluntary work that she does, working voluntary with us and other places. She's put it all on her CV. She's happy to look for work because she has friends who, got turned 17 before her. They're already working. Because in this country, that is the culture, because kids are taught to be responsible from that early age. From the moment you turn 16, you are sent your national insurance number. My daughter was sent an NI number. NI number is what everybody in this country needs for them to start work, for you to be able to pay your taxes. So as soon as a child turns 16, without you asking, they send it for you by post. You receive it. Why? Because that shows that child can now look for work. They can be able to get work because they now have their national insurance number. And it is a good culture. It's a good culture because we see how even as the kids are, even before they turn 16, you have children who, will do little chores. You see families
Yes.
here, they encourage their kids, they do little chores in the house and they pay them, which, it's such a good thing. I mean, that's a culture that I have embraced as well, having my kids here. Whereas when you look at the African household, it's a completely different setup.
True.
We all were born and grew up in Africa, where how dare you? Can you ask your parents to pay you money to clean? Can you ask your parents to pay you money because you want to
That's
Hoover or
crazy.
sweep the
Dare not talk
backyard?
about church.
Some of us used to go to school. Chi, I'm sure you are aware as well, where in the morning before we go to school, we have to quick sweep the yard, fetch some water, do so many house chores before we go to school. Even when you come back from school, it's the same thing. Will you dare to ask your parents to pay you to do that? No, you
No
wouldn't.
way.
Whereas in
Mm.
this country, that's the encouragement that we give kids. My youngest, who is 7, she has a bank account. And in that bank account, opened for through the NatWest, it says there, now you're putting money in this account. What did this child do? And then I have to put, she cleaned her room, she tidied her room, she hoovered, she washed the
At
dishes,
7,
because
this is
that's the culture
inspiring.
here that we encourage. Because by doing so, that child is going to know what it's like to work and earn money. And by the time they get to that age when they're 16, they're looking forward to going out there and doing jobs that they can do and get paid. They're not working so that they can pay us rent. They're not working so that they can make contributions to us. No, but it's for themselves. That is why you see some kids, by the
No.
time they get to 20,
Okay.
they're able to save up money for a house from working.
Sure. Okay, now let's talk about this. At the age of 16, you mentioned that a child or your daughter got her national insurance number, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
But how about those between the ages of 13 to 14? Islands, they can also work. Starting from age 13, 14, 15, they can as well work
Well,
in this country.
legally, it's from the
Mm.
age of 16.
Okay.
Legally, it's from the age of 16 because you don't get a national insurance number until you
Until.
turn 16. So the legal age for you to work in this country is from the age of 16 because you cannot work without a national insurance number. For you to be able to work and pay tax, you need that. A child can go, maybe a family business, they can be working there and they can be giving them like little, like, you work, they give you £10, which is, it's not really classed as a job because if you're not paying tax, then that's really not a job. It is a job in a sense that maybe it's voluntary. Maybe they just give you like, some incentive because you're doing that job. But legally, for you to be able to work and contribute and pay your taxes, it's from the age of 16 because that's when you get your national insurance number.
Okay, so but those below the age of 16 can work, but they are not taxed.
No, yes, they are not taxed because if you don't have a national insurance number, you cannot be taxed. So even though it will be seen as work, but even at 16, you have some employers who will not take kids who are 16 because in their eyes, they still see them as kids.
Yes, because what I found online and on the UK's government website, that those below the ages of 16 can do some soft job, and they are not taxed. And I checked around some of the supermarkets here, like Tesco, as they don't employ any child who is under 18.
No, a lot of them don't. No, a lot of them don't.
You, being a super lady, you are rich, wealthy, why would you allow your child to work? Because you have everything already. You have everything in the country. Why would you allow your daughter who is under? Yeah, why would you
should? It's a good culture that you are instilling on that child. It is a good culture. I mean, for those of us who are from Africa, like yourself, Chi, we grew up where, as a parent, it's like that's your responsibility to provide for your child. And that child is going to stay with you until they go to university, until they get married, sometimes before they even leave your house. Whereas you see the difference in culture here. Here in this country, you see children are 16, they go to college and then they go to university. Some kids go to university after uni, they don't come back home. They go and get their own houses. By then, they would have worked, they would have saved money for a deposit for a house. They get their own house. In our culture, you're not supposed to leave your parents' house until you get married, until your parents hand you over to your husband before you leave the house. Whereas my daughter here, she's 17, she's already got her own plans. I'm going to go to uni when I finish uni, and then I would have worked, save a deposit for my house, and then I'm going to go to my own house, move into my own house. I am not in there. She's making her own plans because that is the culture here. It enables children to be responsible because that really is how it's supposed to be. I know we have our own culture, but at the same time, every culture works differently for wherever you find yourself. And even though you might have money, but that does not mean your child should not go to work because you don't want to be able to just be giving that child money just because, no, I have enough money, I don't need you to work. And in Africa, it's like that.
Right now,
some people think that kids shouldn't work because they have money.
Right now, she's under 18 and she starts working. So you don't have any say. I mean, the money she makes, you don't have any say about that. You don't have any business with her money. And she says she's living in your house. She eats your food. You pay the bills. You don't have any business with the money she earns.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's how it's supposed to be. Her money has nothing to do with me. Because for me as a parent, what I want to encourage my child to do is you work. I don't want your money. I'm capable of providing for you still. Save your money because I want you to get to that point where you can be able to say, I have saved enough money to buy a house, to pay a deposit for my house. That is what I want my kids to be able to do. I don't want to say, okay, well, now you're working, you need to now be contributing because you've started working. No. I don't want my kids' money. I want them to be able to work and save your money. It's for you. So you are actually helping me because whereas if you weren't working and then tomorrow you want to buy a house, you need a deposit. Instead of coming to me and then I have to give you that deposit for that property, you would have worked and saved. And you will know the importance of saving because it's your money. You are earning it. You know the value of it. Whereas if I'm just dishing out money to you, why? Because I can afford it. Let me just give you money. You don't need to work. Focus on your studies. It's not good at all. And with us from Africa, seems to be the focus. A lot of parents I've seen, even as I work in the community, oh, no, 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 I don't want my kids to work. I just want them to focus on their studies.
They see that as
And that's a
threat,
topic for another day, because even
them.
the studies that they want the kids to focus on, the kids have no social lives at all. They don't interact with friends. They don't go out with friends because their parents want them to wholly and solely focus on getting those grades, which is all about them a lot of the times than the kids.
It's very wrong, to be honest. It's quite, I don't know. We were all like that. Like me, even at the age of 20, I don't think I've worked. Yeah, even at age 20, I doubt I've ever worked, in my home country. It was all about going to school. There's that. We don't stop going to school. We just want to get the highest degree, the highest level, the highest profession before we begin to think of working. So, but thank you very much for breaking this down. What general advice would you like to give to most immigrant parents who just arrived in the UK with their children, with their families, and they are focused on getting their children, getting that qualification from the university? What do you have to say to them?
I think for me, what I would like to say is this. I have been in this country for 20 years, and I know the difference in culture with where we come from in Africa and here. And one of the things I know is this: for us as African parents, a lot of African parents, every parent, first of all, wants the best for their kids. They want to come to this country and they want their kids to utilize every opportunity that this country has to offer for them to be the best that they can be. But I think what we have to realize is back home in Africa, that's the focus, because a lot of parents, they want their kids to be the doctors, the engineers, the lawyers, the accountants, all the big profession. Well, please, as you've arrived in this country, let your mind be broadened to the fact that there are children out there who, in terms of going to university and being lawyers and doctors, maybe it's not for them. Sure. Because I have seen it a lot in the communities. I've seen it a lot. I've seen parents who you argue with them and they will say to you, no, she's going to be a doctor. That's what she's going to be. That's what I always wanted her to be. And I'm saying to myself, that's what you always wanted her to be? Or that's what that child wants to be? Yeah. With us from Africa, it's all about what we want our children to be. We do not give the children the options to choose what they want to be, because we want them to be high-end professions. We want them to be lawyers and doctors. Why? Because we want to feel proud when we're saying, oh, my son is a doctor, my daughter is a lawyer. That's what we like. But in this country, it is not about being lawyers and doctors. It is about what makes your kids happy. When people say to me, your daughter is going to go to uni, does she know what she wants to be? No, I don't know what she wants to be. She doesn't know what she wants to be. She can be whatever she wants to be. Because in this country, whatever our kids choose to be, we are there as the parents to support them. That is what it's about. In Africa, with the African culture, the African homes, it's not about that. It's about what we want our kids to be. We map out what we want our kids to be. Rarely do we sit down and have that conversation with our children and say, okay, now you want to go to university. Do you know what you want to do? No, it's about, yeah, you're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be a doctor. We map it out for them. Are the children happy? Ask yourself these questions. Whatever it is that you want your kids to do, are they happy? If your kids are not happy, have the discussion with them. Let the kids tell you how they feel that, Mom, I know you want me to be a lawyer because you wanted to be a lawyer. You did not get to be a lawyer. So now you want me to be a lawyer. But actually, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be something else. Listen to what your children are saying they want to be, because the mental health of children in this country is going high. The mental problem, mental breakdown, we are seeing it escalate. A lot of children are having difficulties, mental health issues. Why? Because of the pressure of living to the expectations of their parents. They don't want to disappoint their parents. They don't want to let their parents down. And that is putting a lot of pressure on kids. And as someone who works in the community, I see that a lot. I have kids who confide in me, they talk to me. And then when you say, do you want me to talk to your parents? No, auntie, because if you talk to them, they're going to get mad because I've said something about this. And it makes me sad. It makes me sad when I see kids who don't want to be what their parents want them to be, but they feel that, auntie, if I don't do what they want me to do, they say, well, you are under my roof. I'm the one taking care of you. it shouldn't be like that. We have a lot to learn in this country about parenting, and we don't want to go wrong in our parenting to a point where our children resent us because we've made them to be something they don't want to be just because that's what we want them to be. So my advice would be, as you arrive in this country, take on board the culture as well. The open discussions, a lot of us as African parents, we are so strict. We fail to have that vital relationship with our children because it is all about studies, it is all about career, and there is no relationship. The relationship between parents and children tends to be missing. So embrace the culture of having that open, frank relationship with your children, that they can be able to feel free to say to you, I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be a doctor, without worrying or scaring that, oh, if I tell them, they're going to be scared. Your children should not be afraid of you. Our kids should not be afraid of us. If they are afraid of us, they don't respect us. Just because your kid is afraid of you doesn't mean they respect you. I respected my parents, but I was scared of my parents growing up. Scared, really scared. Very scared of them because it's beating and shouting and abuse. And in the end, you're scared of them. But did that mean I respected them? No, I didn't. I had no respect for them. To a point where today, I have no relationship with my mother. Why? Because of that. So we don't want kids who are going to resent us because we have put them through situations that could have been averted because we don't have a relationship with them. Have a relationship with your kids. Discuss with them. Talk with them. In Africa, we don't have that culture where we sit down and talk with our parents. But please, as we arrive in this country, let us embrace that culture of sitting down, talking to your kids, asking them how they feel about life, about things, about studies, about career. It will help them a lot.
Wow. That was a whole lot. Thank you very much for that beautiful summary. Great advice to parents who have just arrived in the UK, even those already on ground who do not know about these tips. I think this is very necessary that you digest this, implement it, carry it out. It would really help you and your children. Thank you very much, Yeama, for dishing out this wonderful lines to all of us parents. I am not excluded because I am very much fresh and I have a young man growing under my roof. Yes. I really appreciate all that you've just said. And we wish to keep having you on and on this channel. Hi, everyone. Say a big thank you to this wonderful lady. She has been my savior. Yes, that I'm working today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
thank you for
my
having
boss
me.
lady. Thank you very much. I sincerely
Thank you.
appreciate
And please share my follow details as well, Chi, so that if people want to follow me, they can follow me on my page where, feel free to ask any questions. That's where we're here. We are here to empower each other and learn from one another. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.